Sheroic?
It is our Facebook Live.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome, guys. Welcome to the room.
This is the room.
This is
the room.
You just did the British accent.
I did, and we could do this entire thing in the British accent if you like.
You think you can do the whole hour?
Do you want me to? I think people might get turned off and leave.
It's actually really good. I've never heard you do a British accent before. Where did you pull that out from?
I don't know, some training from you, listening to you a lot. I can also do country really well.
Go on.
All right. Lisa, I'm confused now. Today we're going to eat some pancakes and talk about Sheroic and how to be a Shero in this day and age.
That's really... The funny thing is when I try and do an American accent, even just the regular Southern California, it always turns Southern.
Can you do it? Let me hear.
It's really bad.
I don't care.
Hey, y'all, what's going on? This is the Be Sheroic Facebook page. Welcome live.
You just sound like a nasally alien.
So the first question is, right, Michelle, where's the first? Aha. Yes, here we go. All right, okay. Thank you, Michelle. Hi, Cassie and Lisa. I have a question, hopefully future topic. So do you think that no one else should be competing? This is based off the Danny J episode where we were talking about competing and bodies and things like that. So do you think that no one should compete, or do you believe that there is a healthy way to compete? I really look up to big-time natural athletes such as Erin Stern, two-time figure Olympia winner. She works out at my gym. I've also loved the work ethic and goal-getting attitude that goes into competing, and was wondering your thoughts on this. In some ways, I feel as though you were all almost shaming women that got into competitions.
So I think everyone has a very different experience with competitions. I think get into it if you feel like you have a healthy mindset, if you know exactly what you're getting into and what you're going to have to deal with afterwards. I don't think, I apologize if it sounded like it was shaming, but from my personal experiences, I think it took me a long time to heal from that process. So what I wanted to do was to help save other people from having to go through that, because I believe that is the reason why I went through it. Had I known exactly what I was getting into, had I been more educated, I wouldn't have done it the way that I did. But if you understand how to get your body that lean, if you love the work ethic that goes into it, which I 100% super respect that, and you know how to safely, mentally and physically get out of that competition mode, then yes, 100% do it. I'm not going to tell you not to do it, but just know what you're getting yourself into.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I mean, you get so many people who've had bad experiences, but you also get people that are incredible and have like the most amazing physiques and can do it and have a form of balance where they don't go too deep into it. And, you know, you've spoken about your experience, you know, and the reason why I won't do it, because people have asked me, oh, would you ever compete? And the reason why I don't is I know myself well enough, and I know that I have an obsessive personality, compulsive personality. So I know if I'm going to do it, I'm going to be so into it that I won't chew gum in case it has like half a calorie. Like I know myself well enough. So I'm like, that's not good for me. So I don't think that's a wise choice to do it. But yeah, and what I love about this question is that they pushed us on it. Yeah. And I think that's really important for us to clarify certain things.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good. Yeah, that was great. And what was her name?
Her name was...
At Mindful Lifts.
At Mindful Lifts.
At Mindful Lifts.
On Instagram.
Thank you for your question.
Yeah, thank you for your question. That is really, you know, meaningful to us. All right, so we've got a live question right now from Laura Hernandez. What is your favorite fun activity to do when you're not working?
So I had this interview. I get interviews all the time. And then one of the questions yesterday was basically, what do you do for fun/random? And I still have that email open upstairs on my desk because I don't know. Because I love working. I love working out. Yeah. That's kind of what I do for fun. And if it's not that, then I'm eating.
But do you find that there's certain things with work where you're like, this is so tedious that I wouldn't do it unless I have to do it?
Oh, of course.
And then other things like, I would guess it'd be much more creative where you're drawing, you're thinking of concepts. Would that be something that you would do more in your time? Spare time? What does that even mean to you?
I mean, there's so many aspects to work. There's going to be the tedious stuff. There's going to be the stuff that really gets your heart excited and you don't need to be paid to do it, that sort of stuff. But I believe all of it, For me, I just love doing stuff where I can see growth. And so I suppose if I really break it down, what else do I do for fun? If I had more time, I'd probably do some more dancing. I love dancing. I would love to pick up ballroom dancing again. I used to do that in college.
Dancing.
Yeah. I was super into Dancing with the Stars. Still a dream of mine to be on that show.
You heard it here first, people. Dancing with the Stars. Let's get this woman on it. That would be awesome, by the way.
That, and then I enjoy cooking, but it's still very related kind of to what I do in my daily life. But I don't know if there's something just like out of the
that has nothing to do with business.
Has nothing to. I don't know. Let me think about it. How about you?
The first thing that comes to mind is playing video games.
Oh,
like, me and my husband, we love playing video games together.
I am so bad at video games.
Like you've always been bad. Like even like the Wii Nintendo with the little like.
That one's okay, but like I might have talked about this on another podcast episode, but have you ever played Mortal Kombat?
No, I haven't played that one, but I've heard it's great.
Well, the graphics on Mortal Kombat are so terrifying. Like you will see people saw skulls in half and then they crush it and then the brains come out and stuff. So I'm really bad with horror, even if it's animated horror, but it's very good graphics. Very well done, people of Mortal Kombat. Anyway, I'm so bad that it doesn't matter if I actually try to strategically use the buttons or if I play backwards, which is what I do if someone asks me to play Mortal Kombat because I can't look at the screen.
Yeah.
But I just have no technique at all.
The funny thing is, I love playing video games. I always have. But I really got into Destiny. And the best thing that I love about it is when me, my husband, and my sister-in-law, we have like 3 TVs that are all lined up, and we play as a team. And it's actually like a really good strategic lesson. Like if even like. You know, with business, right? You've got people around you, you've got a team, you have to know how to work with them, the flow. We kind of do that with video games.
So what is Destiny?
It's basically a shooting game. So you can do 3-on-3. So it'll be like me, my husband, and my sister-in-law, and then we'll fight 3 other strangers live.
Yeah.
So, but there's all this strategy to it. It's like, okay, you go left, I'll go right. Use the sniper gun.
Do you talk in real life?
Yeah, we're always sitting next to each other.
Oh.
So we kind of like coordinate. So it's a really good like skill building and team building exercise.
Interesting.
So yeah, I really find that's super fun.
Wow. Wow. I don't think you want to play video games with me. I would
Well,
I would
especially if you
kill
can't
you. No, I don't look. I have no strategy. Like Sam and I actually at first he was like, "Are you sure you're not good at video games?" I'm like, "I'm really sure." So he had me play NBA 2K. Do you know what that is? Okay. It's these like fake basketball players that look real on the court. And I just don't know how to use the buttons. So I just end up fouling everybody. And there's this move where you can just hug other players. But I think it's actually blocking. So I just go around and hug all the players.
I love how to you it's hugging to other people is like a foul.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Anyway. Okay.
All right.
Do you have another question?
So next question. So this is from Caroline Sass. I have a question about starting a career journey. How do you stay focused and or plan to reach your goals? Is it easy to do small day-to-day milestones or concentrate on the large ones while working to pay rent?
Do you want to take that first?
Yeah, sure. I think you need both. I think you need to know exactly where you're going. You have to have the grand vision of what you're working towards. And then every day figure out those small decisions. Is it moving towards that goal or not? So if you're doing, Pop Flex clothing line, that's your end goal. Well, okay, today I have to figure out what the cost of the prints that I want, right? Like what are the costs? Sorry, I'm like totally stealing you
no,
as an example.
No, you do.
But
yes.
right, but like what are the threads I want to use? What are the cost of the threads? So okay, today that's the one small thing I have to tackle to do a big clothing line. So Impact Theory, our big goal is we're building a studio. And so we know every day what are the content we have to put out, what is the value we're bringing to our customers to build that big studio so that we have this community around us that really believes in it and wants to see the studio succeed. So
yeah, I think you definitely need both. I think writing it down for me is so key. I use a planner and I have to see things visually. I also like to know when I'd like to accomplish something. So it's not just a dream, it's more of a goal and a plan because there's a date, a deadline. And so I'm a super big picture person. In fact, when it comes to answering emails, and you'll find that there are people who answer emails who like to do the easy ones first. But for me, I like to do the hard ones first to get the big the emails that take like 2 or 3 hours to finish, those types of emails. And then sometimes Sam gets mad at me because he's like, why don't you just do all the easy ones? But I'm just like, yeah, that's fluff, whatever. Like, I got to get the big guns out of the way. Anyway, so for me, I need to know what the big vision is in order to plan the small steps along the way. So, for me, that's how I would start. Write it down, know exactly what you want, but know that when you do accomplish those little things, that also gives you extra motivation because you feel the progress. So just know that there's a journey as you get to the big things.
Yeah.
Cool.
Bam. Drop the mic.
Except not because these are precious. So we're not going to do that.
A lot of time to set it up. It's falling. We're going to do a whole video, by the way, of outtakes of us just like when we're recording our podcast. How many times is stuff like just falls apart?
Things just fall over. Do we have another question?
Right, yeah, let's do another question.
Let's do another question.
All right, so this question is from Sonnyfield Lindbarger. I'm so sorry, I'm really bad with pronouncing names. What advice would you give someone who was betrayed by a strong, powerful female mentor? How do I learn to develop trust to continue on in my Sheroic mission?
That's a deep one. Whether it is a female mentor, a male mentor, I don't think it really matters. Betrayal hurts either way. I think that you now have to realize what type of person that person is and just not get involved with that person again. And I think you just need to, for me, I've been betrayed before by some of my closest colleagues, and it hurt. I cried. I did not trust people for a long time. And in fact, I don't really think that's a terrible thing either, because I used to be too trusting. And yes, there is something too trusting to the point of where people take advantage of you. And I think that's how I got into my situations the first time. And so I think when stuff like that happens to you, it happens for a reason. And it teaches you to be more cautious. It teaches you to not just sign contracts because someone's pressuring you into it and they're saying, don't worry, it's going to be fine.
How often do you hear that?
I used to hear that a lot. Now, we have lawyers and stuff looking at things, so I'm safe. But back in the day, people would be like, oh, just sign, it's okay, and it's fine. And that, that's how I got to my, and it was always so weird because it was someone close to you, it was someone older. They knew exactly what they were doing. And so in this case, if you feel betrayed and you're having a hard time trusting people, take that experience, put it in your book of knowledge, in your book of experiences, and make sure to return to that when you're in a situation where you don't feel like something's right. I think you just have to use that experience to your benefit. But I'm sorry that happened, but it's life, and unfortunately, it happens.
Is that what made you get the lawyer? Because that happened?
Not that specific one, but maybe it was. Yeah, I think experiences like that, because people had been telling me for a long time, they're like, Cassie, with your career, you definitely need a lawyer, but lawyers are really expensive. And so I was like, oh, I can just do it myself, like it's going to be fine. But experiences like that made me get a lawyer. And so now I feel super protected, and I feel good about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think looking at the situation and like everything's in hindsight, right?
Yeah.
Like if you could go back, what are the little things that maybe this person did or showed you who they truly were that you didn't notice at the time? And take that as knowledge, like you said, right? You just learn from the experience, and you got to let go of it, I think, is a big thing. Emotionally let go of it.
I forgot to say that. Have you ever had that question asked, like, would you rather forgive or forget?
Yeah.
And I remember I was asked this question sophomore year of high school. We were actually reading about the Holocaust. There was this book called The Sunflower. I think it was by Simon Wiesenthal. I might be totally wrong. But anyway, we were asking Holocaust survivors, like, do you forgive or forget? And at the time, I was young, and I was like, oh, well, just forget, then you won't have to deal with it. But the answer that now makes sense to me, and the answer that the teacher was talking about, was forgive them, because that gives you the freedom to let it go, but you don't forget it, because if once you forget it, you're going to run into that same problem again. Yeah. So forgiving is very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it takes a bigger heart to be able to do that, but really you need to forgive them for yourself.
Yeah, and there's always that, and we talk about it a lot, and we post on Sheroic, kind of the quotes that say, like, don't look at failure or issues like this as, like, the worst thing that can happen to you. If you can spin that and say, how is this the best thing that can happen to me? So literally change the question that you're asking yourself. Instead of, how can I forgive this person? You know, go, how can I learn from this and be more powerful and stronger tomorrow or today? Right? Like, just changing that question, I think, helps approach it with more, like, because you can hear the hurt in her.
I can hear it. Yeah.
So like you said, sorry that happened, but, you know, it's an opportunity for you to get even more stronger and powerful.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So let's go to another question.
Okay.
This is from Crystal. I never know how to pronounce this when the last name is Ng.
Ing.
Ing, really?
I think so, yeah.
All right. Crystal Ing. Thank you for the value you bring to us, Sheroes. Thank you for listening, sweetie. What affirmations do you say to yourself when you're having a tough day or going through a tough challenge? For example, when you don't feel confident to accomplish something, what do you say to yourself to get out of that negative loop?
Okay, so this is a trick that I've used since high school. I think high school and middle school is when you start getting into these like whole self-esteem issues and you start judging yourself and you see who the popular girls are and then you just spiral into this negative loop. And so it was in high school that I developed a technique to really help me get out of that quickly, like within 5 minutes. And what I would do is I would just repeat to myself all the things that I've accomplished throughout the years. And it's a super confidence booster. And it's not even an ego thing because it's for yourself. And you realize, oh my gosh, like I've done a lot throughout the years. Like I'm fine. And that's how I get myself out of a negative loop. I remind myself of all the cool things that I've done and the cool people that I've met and the great experiences that I've had.
And that gives you the motivation to overcome that.
It works every time.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Nice.
Yeah. And sometimes if you're in like a really down in the dumpsters mood, sometimes your significant other or someone else can like help you do that with you. Because you know how sometimes you can be in victim mode and you're like, no, I'm terrible at everything. Life sucks. Like I'm so unsuccessful or like whatever. And then someone can be like, no, you're not. Do you remember when you did this? And then lift you, like coaching. That works too. So yeah.
I like that.
How about you?
I've got two main ones that kind of come to mind. One is you get what you focus on. I say that quite a lot. And the reason being is every time there's a problem and then you find yourself kind of emotionally like either complaining about it or talking about it all the time, I just feel like the more you keep focusing on it, the more negative your thoughts become. And so if you can switch that and go, okay, I get what I focus on right now, all I can think about is the negative. How do I change this? Okay, let's think about the positive. Pretty much, basically, it's exactly what you do, right? It's what are the good things? What are the things that I've achieved?
Yeah.
Like changing that focus from the negative to the positive can make all the difference to me. And then the second thing I always say to myself is you chose this life.
Yeah.
Because when you get stressed, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when there are certain things like, I chose this life. So what on earth am I complaining about? Like, I could live a different life. I could choose to be a stay-at-home mother. That's right. Like, so I think it's so important to recognize whatever path you're on. Like, I take ownership of that path and then say, well, if I chose this, why am I being so negative about it?
And if you don't like it, then change it.
Right, exactly. Because then it gives you the freedom to go, oh, hang on, I chose it. It's my choice. I can change it.
You have the power.
And then now I have the power to do so.
I love that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, it's time for rapid fire
round.
round.
Rapid fire! I'm scared!
We literally... sat around like, what are all the fun things we can do? So now we're doing rapid fire. This means we're asking each other rapid fire questions, but we don't know what the other person is going to ask us.
I'm so
and
bad
Michelle now is going to bring up the questions. Drum roll.
yours.
Oh, you slacked mine.
So
All
should I
right.
do Lisa first?
Go on then.
Okay.
I'm scared.
Okay.
Go on.
Okay, here we go.
Right, let's do it.
Would you rather go back to age 5 with everything you know now, or know now everything your future self will learn?
What's H5?
Like when you were 5?
Oh.
I'll repeat that.
Oh, age 5. Sorry.
Age
The reason why,
5.
because you Americans, you use like these weird, like, oh, I was in 8th grade. And it's like, I don't know how old that is. We don't.
Okay.
So
repeat
sorry.
real
Age
quick.
5. Okay.
Would you rather go back to age 5 with everything you know now, or know now everything your future self will learn?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think I would go back because I so love the learning process that I don't think I would want to know everything in the future. Like, I like the step-by-steps.
I agree. Okay, rapid fire number 2.
All right, so that was
never work again or never feel love again.
Oh, God, that's a... I mean, I guess if I have to choose between my husband and work, it would be my husband for sure. So I would rather never work again.
Okay. Would you rather face your fears or forget you have them?
Oh, face my fears, because I think it's an opportunity to grow stronger. And then you just get proud of it, which then gives you confidence and... So I'm talking really quickly.
No, it's okay. Would you rather know when you're going to die or how you're going to die?
Oh, God.
Oh my God, that's terrible. I don't even know how to answer that. But I think about it all the time.
How I'm going to die or when I'm going to die? Probably when. And the only reason being, like, if you told me I only had a week to live, let me tell you, I'm going to change my actions.
Yeah.
But then, like, knowing how, it's like... I would just feel like at least you're going to drown. I'm never going near water. I'm going to... But you know what I mean? So I think it would be when, because then I can adjust the way I live to make sure that I live my most fulfilled life.
So inspirational, even in rapid fire. Okay, final question. Make decisions only with your head or only with your heart?
Head for sure. Head for sure. The heart's going to lead you places that may not be good for you, right?
This is sometimes
I think
true,
we've
yes.
all been in, or most of us at least. In fact, I'll speak for myself.
Okay.
I've been in relationships in the past before I met my husband that were not good for me. Now, of course, did I learn a lesson? Did I take that and use it in my relationship now? 100%. But yeah, I think that just approaching things with just your heart, I think, can lead to problems that you may not be thinking about.
Very good. And that concludes Rapid Fire with Lisa.
Yeah. All right. Are we going straight into Rapid Fire with Cassie? All right,
my
Rapid Fire with Cassie. I just read the first one. It's
no.
funny. All right. Would you rather spend 5 years in prison or for something you didn't do, or 10 years for something you did?
I'd rather spend 10 years for something I did.
Yeah. Why?
I think the pain of, because I felt this before, when someone blames you for something that you didn't do, it's one of the worst feelings in the world.
Yeah.
And if I need to repent for 10 years for something that I did, then cool. I earned my spot in prison. Yeah.
But it's doing something that you didn't deserve. That
being blamed for something that I didn't deserve is very hurtful, because it's happened to me before.
Nice.
Yeah.
Respect that. Would you rather be unable to use search engines or unable to use social media?
That's a weird question. I would okay, I would rather not use social media, because I have learned so much through Google and YouTube, because those are both search engines for me. And I've built my career through searching a lot of things on Google and YouTube.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
I didn't think you'd say that.
Well, because then I could learn so much that I could create my own social media.
Bam.
Okay.
This woman doesn't do things by heart. Okay, you could only do one exercise for the rest of your life. What would it be?
Like as in one move or like one workout program?
Let's go with one move.
One move?
Oh, no, let's go with a style. What were you thinking, Michelle?
I was thinking one move.
Okay.
Oh, one move for the rest of my life? One move for the rest of my life. That's a real hard one.
That is a hard one. Can it be like an all-encompassing, like, squat, lift? Is that like considered one move? Or am I cheating a little?
Oh my gosh, this is so not rapid fire right now. I don't know. Maybe I would pick something like a split.
Split? All right, splits it is.
I like my flexibility.
That's actually good. All right, your house catches on fire. What's the one thing you save?
Ooh.
Nice.
My phone.
Your phone?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and myself and Sam.
Sure.
Yeah.
Those are almost given.
Yeah.
Oh, your phone. Interesting.
Because
all right.
my phone holds all.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
your information. All right, last question. Would you rather be held in high... And by the way, the reason why I actually really love these, it forces you to make a decision very quickly. And these are kind of all like techniques and stuff of like what it, like making you realize what is important to you, making you realize like, oh, okay, well, I didn't realize I would actually do that.
Yeah. Wait, what would you save if you thought that was interesting?
Assuming my dogs are safe,
Right.
because they're my babies, and the husband's safe.
Yeah.
I think it would be. If my wedding dress was in my house, my wedding dress.
Okay. But it's not in your
England.
house.
I know it's in England.
You can't choose that.
What would I grab? Oh, a piece of jewellery that Tom gave me, one that's very special to me.
Oh, okay.
So,
Got it.
Very meaningful. All right, last question.
Okay.
What would you rather be held in high regard by your parents? Oh, who would you... Rewind. Would you rather be held in high regard by your parents or your friends?
This is a really interesting question. Okay, let's not explain myself. Let's try to pick one. I'd rather be held in high regard by my friends, only because my parents are a little crazy, and it like even little things that I think a lot of parents would praise their kids for, our parents kind of took that for granted, and so it takes a lot to impress them, and it's not even really like the right things. It's what success means to them. It's, you know, the money, the title, the ego, and I don't want to have to be held to their standards of that. But if my friends feel like they respect me for what I've done, then, and I'm a good person to them, I feel like that's more of an even judging thing. Yeah, that's in my particular case. My parents are a little crazy.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I think that... Awesome. All right, well, that ends
Yay!
our rapid fire questions. And we
Wow.
have a winner.
Okay.
From our last question, and the question was, in the first episode, Cassie and I talk about 2 things that we bonded over. What were those 2 things? Drum roll, please. It was Michael Jackson and mushrooms. Mushrooms that you get at a restaurant, people.
Yeah.
Not other type of psychedelic mushroom.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go move on now
that.
to another question.
Okay.
All right, this question now comes from Adriana Garbers. What's up, Adriana? Have either of you ever had a guy just not think that you can do something even though you are very qualified to do it? If so, what did you do?
Did I ever have a guy think I wasn't qualified to do something?
Correct. And if so,
yeah.
what did you do?
It was my dad. And he didn't think I could be a successful fashion designer. And he literally told that to my face when I was 16. And what did I do? Initially, I cried and I thought my dreams were crushed and didn't pursue it as I went into college. But then halfway through college, I realized this is my life. And so I went ahead and just proved him wrong. That is what I did. And here I am doing fashion design.
That's a great answer.
How about you?
Yeah, I think... God, specifically a guy, maybe, but I think just like...
How about a person?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was people in general. This isn't really like... I'm kind of like twisting the question a little. But yeah, when I said... so I think at the age of like 15, I said I'm going to be the first female to win an Academy Award as Best Director. I'm going to go to America and I'm going to make movies. I'm going to direct a film. It's going to be a blockbuster. I'm going to win an Academy Award. So that at the age of like 15.
Yeah.
Everyone thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
You're never going to be in the film business. You're never going to go to America. And to be honest, I was just confident enough in the ability to learn and the passion and vision that I had that I didn't really take them seriously. Like, it didn't really affect me in any way. But if you want to kind of get even more like specific on a technique, I think it's... I can't think of an example right off the top of my head, but I think if somebody is saying that you are not capable of doing it, I think maybe that they feel like they hope you can't, because if you can do it, does that make them look worse or that they're not capable? So it could come from that selfish perspective on their part, and that's why they're saying you can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, and if you know that you can, like, I find the confidence to not necessarily have to prove yourself, right? I think that that's... If you're proving something for somebody else, I don't know if that's very empowering. Whereas if I had to prove something to myself, like, all right, Lisa, like last year you said you couldn't do pull-ups. All right, well, I'm going to work every single day to make sure that by X day I will. So proving it to yourself, I think, can be empowering. but I don't know, trying to prove it, at least for me. But I know people that do it for other people just to prove a point.
Yeah, I think that might be the catalyst, but at the end of the day, it's for yourself. Yeah, yeah.
But to yourself to feel like you can do it?
Well, I mean, in my situation, I think my dad said that not because he felt like if I couldn't do it, he would feel better because he's my dad. It was more that he wanted me to be financially stable and he was trying to protect me. And so for me, I ended up following what I wanted to do because that's what I wanted to do. And the side benefit was that, oh, by the way, I proved my dad wrong. But that was never the only reason why I was following my dreams. I followed my dreams because I wanted to. That's it. Yeah.
All right, I've got another question. This comes from Serena Hasworth.
Okay.
Both of you work with your spouse's partners. Can you talk about maintaining your relationship while being business partners?
We need to do an entire episode on that.
know.
Yeah. I think that Sam and I have dynamics that really work for each other in our relationship, romantically and also business-wise. And we, at the end of the day, it's about being able to listen and not letting your ego step in the way and wanting to be right. I think a lot of times people get into issues in your personal relationships because someone just won't back down because they want to be right. And in business relationships, sometimes people feel like they need to be the leader and it has to be their idea. But honestly, at the end of the day, it's not about your idea. It's about the best idea. And if you both honestly are on the same path, on the same vision, it's very easy to achieve that. But you have to be open, you have to be honest, you have to be transparent, and you have to know when you are being egotistical and like the other person just need to tell you, and you need to like take a moment, step back and be like, okay, fine, like your idea is better. And so for us, it's always about talking it out. And for sure, I'm definitely the one who gets super like heated and like it's got to be done this way and all this kind of stuff. And then I actually hate it when I'm wrong, and so I just go silent mode. And I just like silent for 10 minutes and I'm like, okay, fine, you're right, let's do it your way. So yeah. But it takes about 10 minutes if we ever get into those, and they're quite rare. Yeah. Because we're very open to listening.
And
to
you
each
guys
other.
have been together for a long time now. So I think you kind of know your flow and
Yeah, but I'll still get into my mode sometimes. How about you guys?
We had over time like the discussion of, okay, what is it as husband and wife? Like what are the roles that we're looking for within each other? And then at work, what are those roles? Because they're actually very different. So, in our personal boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband and wife situation is with Tom, it's, okay, when we're at home, I'm the one that makes him the food. I'm the nurturer. If someone breaks in, he's going to be the alpha and he's going to go attack them. Like the things that I think that in really any relationship you actually have the truthful conversation about. But those roles of like, what are the roles in our relationship? But then in business, I can't be nurturing, right? Because if I disagree with him, I have to give as much energy and I have to push back. And I'm working and I'm busy. And so if he's hungry, he's going to have to sort himself out, right? Like, so there's those, they may seem small, but in the big scheme of things, you have to have those talks.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, a month, 2 months, a year down the line, he's like, but you're not taking care of me. And it's like, well, but we're business partners. I can't give my full energy to the business if I'm taking care of you. So there can be animosity there. So I think you have to have that discussion first of what you're looking for in both relationships, on both sides of that spectrum.
Yeah, so I feel like for both of us, it's definitely talking it out.
Yeah.
Being very clear. Yeah.
And brutally honest.
Brutally honest. That's so important. I don't like fake stuff.
But actually, Tom and I once had the discussion of like, what if we just both adamantly disagree with each other? Like, what if there's a decision that has to be made with the business and we just cannot see eye to eye? We may be able to see the other person's perspective, but we don't agree. What happens then? Have you ever had that situation with Sam?
Not off the top of my head, because I think at the end of the day, we both convince each other enough so that we end up on someone's side.
Right.
I don't know if we've been in such disagreement that one person is just totally not on board.
Yeah.
Have you?
Not really, but we've definitely got to the points where it's like, yeah, but I think we should do this. And it's like, okay, well, I think we should do this. And we talk it through. And it's like, you know what? I don't feel strongly enough to push back.
Yeah, so I think we've definitely had like different ideas before, and I think we end up just running both campaigns to see how it works.
Oh, that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like a smaller thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but then we also bounce it. It's not just us. Like we bounce it off the team, see what
Right,
other people think, because then
right.
it's like,
Yeah.
okay, let's see what the public wants. Like
Right.
yeah. So
That's
that helps a
yeah.
lot.
So really end respecting each other
Yeah.
and each other's opinion versus like, look, I'm going to make the decision and the decision's final. I think that's really important. All right, let's go to a next question.
Okay.
Okay, so the last question. This question comes from Natalie Wixon. Thank you, Natalie, for writing in question. Hi, Cassie and Lisa. What advice would you give someone who has drive, determination, and wants to create a business of their own and or get into a competitive career, yet who is naturally very quiet and finds it difficult to communicate their thoughts clearly with others?
So I think it's amazing that you already realize these weaknesses that you have, because that's the first step to becoming stronger. So I would say write down what those things are, which you just did, but write it on paper. I really like writing things on paper. Maybe you're more of a digital person, you can do that, but I like writing things on paper, and then figure out what books do I need to read? Who do I need to follow so that I can become better at these things? And you can only be better when you put it into practice. So reading the book's going to be good, but unless you practice it and put it into action to see what the reaction of others are, you may not feel confident when it is time to really put it into action. So that's what I would say.
Yeah. Speaking of books, I'm currently reading a book by Vanessa Van Edwards called Captivate. You guys have got to check this out. I mean, she's absolutely incredible. We had her on Impact Theory, our show, and she blew my mind because she literally gives tactics of, okay, this is what you do when you go into a networking situation and you walk in, you don't know anyone. These are the types of questions to ask. This is how you position yourself. Don't go up to someone when they first walk in because they're going to be nervous about everyone around them. So wait for them to walk in. Normally go up to them when they're taking food because you're kind of doing something. Like she gives tactical things about how to improve what language you use in business settings. So that's a really, really good book.
That's good. I have trouble networking. I hate it so much.
You've got to read the book.
Okay.
Like you will love it. Why do you have trouble networking? I'm actually surprised by that.
I don't know. I'm really bad at knowing when to slowly sliver myself into a circle of people and how to introduce myself if someone doesn't know who I am yet. And it just feels awkward. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not shy.
Yeah, it's just specifically networking events. If it's just a social situation or whatever and you happen to network that way, that I feel better with. But when it is an event for networking, it feels really weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like going to like singles speed dating or something where you know everybody's there kind of for the same reason, so it just feels a little bit weird and inauthentic versus just meeting someone randomly at a coffee shop or something. I don't know. I think it's the atmosphere. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, know that you're not alone, right? Like there's so many people that have the same things. I think you hit the nail on the head, and knowing like what your weaknesses are, that's amazing. And then think of it like going to the gym. When you first go to the gym, day one, you know you're not all of a sudden going to get big muscles or lean out or whatever your goal is. You have to do it every single day. You have to keep doing it. You have to keep at it. And every time you go, you improve that tiny little bit extra.
And it adds up. That's how you're going to get to be that open, confident person. It's just going to take time, but you got to start now.
Exactly. Start now, start small, like step into the gym. Right, as the equivalent. Like, go into an environment where you're going to be around two people you don't know. Try some tactics. You may fail at it. You may be bad. Like, that's okay. And that was one thing that actually was very freeing for me. Anytime I'm trying something new or working on a skill that I'm not very good at, I just tell myself, you know what? You're going to be bad at first. And that's fine. Because the only way to get to be amazing is to fall, fail, try again, fall, fail, try again, and then you'll get there. But I think if you're worried about that first step, you could be paralyzed by it.
I know we have to end, but just real quick on that same wavelength. In school, I used to set these own rules for myself that in every class that I took, I needed to ask one question. Like I had to.
You had just told yourself that.
I guess I had all these weird rules when I was a kid, but that's good.
Do you know what made you want to?
don't know. I used to be really shy at public speaking. And that's why, I think it was in an episode that we talked about this, but that's why I joined a speech club so that I'd have to give speeches every single day in order to get over my fear. And so it really came from, it started with me holding note cards in front of the class and literally shaking, like uncontrolled shaking, to winning a speech contest in my entire district. And it starts with those steps. But yeah, I guess I always forced myself to ask a question because one, it made me uncomfortable, but I kind of like that it pushed me, and also to ask something that would challenge the teacher kind of gave me some I don't know, some pride. I kind of liked it.
Like
Yeah,
a bit of confidence.
yeah.
That's cool. Well,
And
thank
Sheroic.
you guys so much. And Sheroic, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Really appreciate everyone joining us on our first Facebook Live. This has
Yeah.
been so much fun.
It's been so much fun in celebration for our 10th episode release.
Yeah.
And thank you, honestly, so much for subscribing, for listening. It means so much to me. I'm sure it means a lot to you too. Just to
Absolutely.
have you guys listen to us. And we love listening to you too, because we look at all your comments and we try to give you exactly what you want and push you a little bit more.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we love that you guys push us. So we see in the comments when someone's saying, hey, I don't like it when you do this, or what about if you
Yeah.
tried this instead? Like, we really love all that. Getting better, improving every day is what we strive for. So please keep those comments coming. And if you want to see more Facebook Lives, throw it in the comments, because we are watching and we are listening.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, and last thing, I feel like we keep just pushing things
Yeah,
into
but
No,
the good
but
news is it's Facebook Live and we can go on for
that's
pretty much
true.
as long
That's
as we
true.
like.
But if for any reason you guys don't have iTunes, remember you can also download Stitcher and you can listen to us there. Or if you don't have that, you can go to bsheroic.com where we put our YouTube video and a little player so you can listen to it there. So there are no excuses for not listening to it.
Oh, I like it.
So listen
No
to
excuses.
it.
All right.
Okay, I think that's the end for real.
So I guess this is our sign off. And
Okay.
until next time,
Be Sheroic.
Yay!